No. These shows, these showcase stuff. I had it in one of my Batman ones.
Welcome to Comic Book Club. This week we chose Batman issue 181, and it was TM's choice. Let's see. Yep. So, TM, take her away.
All right. So I had a couple of facsimiles of Batman 181. Haven't read it yet, so I was just like, what better place to read it than book club? So let's go over this story. We got Batman 181 with the cover here. There's checkered top. I'm a sucker for checkered tops. I like them.
Go checks.
Can't go wrong with go checks.
So this is the first appearance of Poison Ivy. Beware of Poison Ivy. So it starts off with Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson at a pop art show, and there are three of the top three villainous women in the city, and it's was it Dragonfly, Silken Spider, and Tiger Moth. I'm not sure if these characters ever show back up.
I don't think so.
I've never heard of them, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But it just goes on saying that these are the top three villains, like 1, 2, and 3 here. But Poison Ivy won't have that. Poison Ivy wants to be the number one villainous woman. So she ends up crashing the party and using this kind of like flash thing that like confuses people, and that she doesn't get confused because she has like a special contact lens in, as Bruce kind of determines that. We move on. He ends up going into like starting to become Batman. He's like, nobody can see me here. I'm just going to change into my suit and become Batman and try to stop her. So we move on here. She ends up controlling him. She gets a hold of him and ends up controlling him, and that for a little bit here. We move on. We find out that Robin is like, what's happening with Batman? And I found this really strange that Robin is allergic to was it shaft doors? That was a little odd for me.
No. He said it because Batman fell down the shaft, the elevator shaft, and he said, "Oh, you know."
Oh, okay. So he didn't. Okay,
it's a joke. He's making fun of Batman.
Because Batman called him out for taking too long to join him in that fight.
So he said, "I'll take the stairs instead." And
yeah.
Then, because he's afraid of jumping down elevator shafts.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he does notice that something is wrong with Batman, trying to figure that out. Later on, we see that Poison Ivy is concocting a plan to get the top three villainous women out in the open. So, like, she goes and says, like, oh, this one's saying that she's better than this one's saying that she's better than that one, and tries to lure them out by saying, no, I'm the better one. She gets them out into the open. Here comes Batman and Robin just shafting down. And it looks like a Batcopter.
Yeah, it is the Batcopter.
So they end up coming down. He is like, just to give you a little bit more insight, Batman is still kind of like under like the spell of Poison Ivy still at this moment in time.
I don't think that's right. I think he gets under the spell later on again.
Okay, I thought that he was still because.
No, he thinks he thinks she's cute, but that's about it.
Okay, I thought that he was still kind of under the
hypnosis.
The games.
Yeah.
But there he is. There's what you just said. He ends up kissing her, getting him to under her control, and I forget. There was like a powder that like the Boy Wonder couldn't.
It's arsenic. They put things to protect themselves against it.
Okay. They end up catching her, and they end up. So for the story, like they end up catching her, and she says like she won't. This won't stop her. She'll be back. She's gonna get back even with them, like most villains. All right. So, like I thought it was a straightforward story. Nothing really special in it. I was hoping for more. Like I went into this like excited, and I should have lowered my expectations. But we'll start with the cover. The cover, like I said, I'm a sucker for checkered comics and that. So I will give the cover a 4. Now, is it story now or?
Or interior art.
I was a little disappointed in some of it. I just it didn't catch me as much as I was hoping it would. Some of the backgrounds are really nice and that, but a lot of the art is a little wonky for me, and especially with like a lot of the coloring. Sometimes like this is a facsimile, but I'm sure that's in there. Like it goes somewhat onto her forehead. So
Yes.
you get some of like the coloring of her hair and stuff. So it's just like it kind of didn't do it for me. So I would give. Sadly, I'm gonna give the art a 2.75.
2.75.
Yeah, and story. It kind of reminded me of a little bit like Batman and Robin. Was that the one with Poison Ivy? The movie? Or was Batman Returns?
Oh,
No,
yeah,
Batman.
Batman and Robin. Yeah, Batman.
Okay,
Batman
Batman and Robin
Returns?
kind of reminded me of that
Batman
dynamic
and
and
Robin, I
stuff,
thought it
except for like
Yeah.
Robin in that movie ended up falling in love with Poison Ivy too. Like I felt a little bit of that, felt a little bit of Batman 66 in this because of
It
course
was very Batman 66.
yeah. So story wise, I didn't mind it. So I would give it like a 3.75.
3.25?
No,
75.
7.5.
3.75. Got you.
Overall, I will give it. I'll give it a 3.7.
3.75 again. Okay.
Okay.
And who would you like to go next?
I'll pick D. Okay.
Yeah, that's me. All right.
So, sorry, hold on a second.
No, you're good. All right, so we'll get into this book here. For me, the cover is iconic because you know it's a big key, but I don't think it's a good cover. You look at Robin right here. He looks fat and he looks very goofy. Poison Ivy is not
the words out of my mouth there, D. I
Yeah.
agree with you.
Poison Ivy is not drawn to be really flattering in this picture. I don't see that go, ooh, good girl. Like, just very mid. And then the straight up Peter Pan vibe with the shadow.
No,
Very-
see, I really that's
I
what
was seeing
gets
Peter
me
Pan,
though.
too.
That the checkered and the Peter Pan vibe, I really enjoy it. So that's why I gave it such a high.
I give it a lower mark because of the Peter Pan vibe. That's weird to me. Now I do like the checker things, but it's just because you know it's from a cool era. I don't think it makes the book look better. So we'll get into the interior art here.
Where'd you give
Very
the cover?
cover. I'm gonna go a 2.5.
The mid.
I would rate
That's
this
fair.
a lot lower if it was not a key first appearance. Poison Ivy's on the cover. It's a big book, so I brought it to like the middle of the road. But other than the fact that it's a key first appearance, this cover does nothing for me. Interior art, you know, I went back and forth with it. Like one of the things I always kind of knock books from this era for are their backgrounds. And TM, you said it earlier too. The backgrounds were good. There was the art told the story. I'll give the interior art a 3. As for the story, Poison Ivy is not my favorite villain, but she is interesting. She's got a lot, she has powers now in modern day books, and her reasoning. She's got a reason. She's not just evil. Here, she had, to me, like just a really stupid motivation for wanting to interject herself into this story. I want to be the #1 female criminal, and she bragged about it. Like, my crimes are so perfect, no one even knows it's me. Then, like, shut the fuck up. Then keep going, keep committing your crimes. But no, she just
Ego
had
got the best
to.
of her.
Yeah, she just had to strut out into the spotlight. It wasn't smart. And so she was dumb. And then the other top 3 female criminals were all dumb. All she had to do was write a little letter like, "Hey, you're a stupid hoe," and like, "Oh no, you're a stupid hoe," and they all
they
fucking
even said that. Like, I didn't even say like that in there. Like, one of them was just like, "This could be a trap, and I don't care. I'm still going." I was like, "What?"
yeah,
It's like,
yeah. So so basically, the top 3 female criminals in the world, are dumb enough to get a letter written to them and they just blindly strut in. Like, really not very smart. And then kind of what's the case with a lot of these books, she gets the upper hand, and then the next page, Batman hits her with a batarang, catches her, and locks her up. So the story, yeah, just
Wrapped up very, very quickly.
yeah, and a nice little bow. And here's the thing I hate about that. There's another story after this. The first story could have just been longer and had more depth. And
That was
they
the
even
style
had like
of the
a
Silver Age.
they had a Rocky and Bullwinkle story.
yeah, no, yeah, I don't know, man. So the story internally, I give that a 1. I was excited to read it, because I wanted to see the first appearance of Poison Ivy, and I knew going into it that she probably isn't the same character in her first appearance that she is currently. But I was hoping she'd be but I was hoping she'd be a little bit more recognizable. And she wasn't. Overall, man, I'm gonna give this book a 2. And I'm not mad that I read it. So just because I didn't give it a great score, there's no hate about reading it. Like, I'm glad I read it. I had fun, but I'm rating it, and I keep it real.
Exactly. Like, I'm not mad at your score at all, because like I felt disappointed too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before you pick the next guy, I'm gonna shout out Chonker. Thank you very much for subscribing or for membering up to the network. Thank you very much, Chonker. This goes out to you, my friend.
Well, thank you, Chonko. I guess he
If it-
joined up for both
Thank you,
Matt and
Chonko.
my channel too.
If it'll work.
Hey, give him the zippy. Give him the zippy. Yeah.
Yes. All right. There we go. So who would you like to go next? Mr. D Runk?
You know what? I'm gonna hand off the baton to old Matt. Kind of likes comic books.
Kind of like comics, yes.
Okay.
I think Chonker is a member to Alan, but I don't know. Go ahead,
I am so quick to agree with you, D, on the Fat Elvis. I mean, Fat Robin. I think Fat Elvis every time. I don't get it. But what I found it hilarious on how quick the story is. And I found it hilarious that whoever wrote the book does not understand women at all. Because apparently their only motivation is to be seen and be the number one. It's not money. It's not, like great crime or whatever. It's I got to be the number one. I got to be seen. Everyone got to know
I think that's very in women's spirit, actually.
Well, maybe in 1966 when the book came out, but I don't know. I just find that it was a little too, there wasn't a lot of depth to that part of the story. But we'll do it in order here. Cover. Because there's go-go checks, it automatically gets 1 mark higher than it should be.
That's what I always do too.
Okay. I mean, Alan always talks about gimmicks. Well, if there's one gimmick that works on me, it's go-go checks. And, if I've actually thought about getting a tattoo of go-go checks around my arm here. So that's
Don't do it. Don't do it.
So I'm not going to. I thought about it. So here's the thing. From a distance, okay, the cover looks great. Like if I'm sitting where I am and I look on the wall, like behind Biggie, and I see that cover,
stands out.
I think that's one of the best covers ever. It is on closer examination that you see the flaws, which kind of sucks because the cover is done by Carmen Infantino and Murphy Anderson. So they're better than this. Batman looks okay, but Robin and Poison Ivy doesn't look as good as she could. So I think Carmen was trying to draw something else and then sort of erased part of it, and then it ended up being inked because it doesn't come across as right. So because of the go-go checks, the cover gets a 3.
Okay.
Now,
legit.
Next up, the interior art. Now, the interior pencils, I don't know who did inks, but the pencils were done by Shelley Moldoff.
Oh, wow.
And they are fantastic compared to the cover. I really like the way he drew the 4 females. I also have always liked the way he's drawn Batman and Robin. So the interior art was actually really good, and I agree with Dee. There was a lot of detail, a lot of like if you look at the jail cell, I think you can see some rocks put into the wall that like make it look like brick.
That's very Sheldon Moldoff putting little details in.
It's great stuff. So the interior art, I'm actually going to give a 4.
Yeah.
I really liked it. Yes, there was the odd thing like Poison Ivy's hair in the one panel, but
it was more than one panel. But
no, but the thing is, I only find it in the one panel you showed out is the only one I found really stood out as being bad. But again, I've always liked Poison Ivy, and I tend to make my liking of characters tends to blunt bad art. Because I've always been more of a guy of the writing. You know what I mean? A good story can make up for bad art, but good art can never make up for a bad story. So, in my opinion. So I agree with that. So next we go to the story. The story was so simple. I mean, really, it was so simple. I like Batman and Bruce Wayne. I don't know who I'm forced to date. By the way, I want to beat out these 3 girls. Oh, now I'm in jail. Oh, well, didn't work out. I give the story a 1.5.
Okay.
It wasn't very good.
I'm pretty sure I was really generous on my score for the story.
Okay.
Dang, you were.
No, it's because Batman in this era was so good. Okay. Most of the issues were fantastic between Detective and Batman at this time, especially with Schwartz looking after the book. 66. This is just before the TV show came out, and it got ridiculous. So, I mean, this is April 60 or June 66 is the cover date, I think, on this one. So, the show came out in September 66. So, wasn't ridiculous yet. So
Isn't
But
this
this was a-
after the show? This is before the show, really? Are you
yes,
sure?
the show debuted in September '66. This is the cover date of June '66. I do make notes on some of this stuff.
Yeah. No. I was surprised. I would have thought this was after the show
Yeah.
because it felt
Well,
like the show.
And that's my point. It felt like the only camp story. Like, hey, look at this hep new girl.
It's a definite
Oh.
campy story.
You know, 3 girls have been. We've tricked them into getting together. Whose gang is going to beat up whose gang? You know.
Mm.
And the next thing you know, they start doing.
Yeah.
Right.
They should have. They should have.
They should have.
That would have
Yes.
made that the book.
Right. Well, maybe, but they weren't there yet. So overall, though, the book for its time and for its impact, I will give the book a 3.5. Because again, it's the first appearance of a character I really like.
Mhm.
And
I
then-
do have a question, and since Matt, you probably know, it says at the beginning like he's a billionaire sportsman. Like I've never heard him considered being a sportsman. Like for
That was
Bruce
just the
Wayne.
word they were using. Back in the 60s, and then it was actually done more in the 90s with they made Bruce Wayne a sportsman so that he'd have an excuse if he hurt himself as Batman and he had to be in public with, say, a cast on or something to that effect. That way he could say, oh, I crashed a car while I was racing it, or da-da-da-da-da. It was part of covering up his it's like in the 90s, he'll hire a girl to go out on a date with him for an hour. Okay? Just so
Hooker.
that it looks like he's a playboy when he makes his appearances, and then he buggers off to be Batman and leaves the girl behind, right? You know? Because he never actually asks about a lot of, unless he's in a relationship, he doesn't ask women out.
Mhm.
So, like when he's dating Vicky Vale or he's dating Selena, he brings them the functions, you know.
Mhm.
Other than that, so I'm going to ask Biggie to go next. We'll make Alan the grand finale.
Oh, okay.
All right. There we go. Did it work? Yes. All right. Thank you, everybody. You guys done fantastic. I point this out every time I bring this book up. I like to smoke cigarettes. No. So this is my mom's favorite book. I think what makes this book so I hate fucking saying it, it's so important in the history of comics is
Is the
this
splash
centerfold.
page.
Well, that's Anderson and Infantino for sure.
This is one of the greatest centerfolds in the history of comics. It's one of the comics that's lost the centerfold more than any other.
Yeah, everyone rips it out and sticks it to the wall.
There are so many of these centerfolds torn out.
Hmm.
Yes.
Probably more than any other comic. So for me, I haven't read this in a while. As soon as I opened it up and I saw that, I popped hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like the big splash, him and her kissing. Yeah, it's interesting. Now, at the beginning when he kisses her, is he under the spell or is this later in the story?
It's later.
Well, the splash
That
page. I
kiss
think-
happens at the end.
yeah.
Okay, so it's a prelude to okay, that's the part I was confused on. But
They did that a lot in the Silver Age, where they would hint at what's going to be inside the story on the first splash page.
yeah,
So
so
they
I
did the same thing with 123 Flash, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm a sucker for like a good facsimile. The paper quality is really good on this. Feels just like an old book.
Hmm.
This part not so much. It feels like a photocopy piece of paper, but the rest of the insides they feel like real comic book.
Mhm.
So you had these old ads. This is a great facsimile. That splash is money. Let me start at the cover. Then we'll get to the inside art. So the cover, Robin does have a bit of an overbite and Batman has like a protruding chin. You know, like that's pretty clear. The red and the white work for me tremendously. The bright red and the white and the two heads. The two heads give it a Golden Age vibe to me. Like it's classic. It's kind of gives me the first Robin vibe, or I don't know, but it's got an older feel to it than even Silver Age to me. And for me, the cover, shit, bro. Like I think that the first Scarecrow is a little better, but when you go for like pop culture arty type stuff, this one's better than that. Like this is pretty recognizable. Like my mom didn't collect comics, but she knew this book. So the style don't bother me that much. The header's cool. The go-go checks I could go with or without. I'm not giving it any extra points for them. I'm just, they're cool. They don't get in the way. They don't bother me, and it does signify a particular time, so that's cool. So for me, the cover, you have a first appearance, you have a good cover appearance also on it. Yeah, I'm going 4.25. It's good for me. Good cover. All right, inside art. Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was good enough to me. Like, I don't see much wrong with it. I think that the collars pop hard on these facsimiles a little better than the original. So it's almost like cheating with the facsimile because they're probably a little more dull in the original book. The ads were great. I was recognizing books that I saw. It didn't read as quick as the first Thor. It was a little more wordy. You could see in the bubbles a little bit more to read. The guy flying away, that's kind of cool. I think the worst part of it was probably this part where they're parachuting and they had like the shadow figures and all that stuff. It kind of felt like war times or something to me, but but this panel's great. Like the one with the crown and the girls, I think that's great art. So for inside art, I'm gonna go 4. I'm gonna give it a 4.
The Crown of Electrocution.
Yeah.
I like Silver Age a lot. I'm not gonna lie, a lot more modern. 4. So story. The story, unlike Thor, where I was like, "Oh, that happened," and I didn't expect that to happen. This book, the only thing that could have made it more like my memory of it would be if she did kiss him and he did go under the spell. But they did use that gimmick, and Batman had the shit to protect himself from it. She said his wings were clipped, meaning like he still fell for her without the magic trick or whatever she uses. So spot on. It even got to the part where Batman was prepared for it, smart enough to know if she kisses me or touches me, I'll get the poison ivy. So another 4 for me. Story wasn't horrible, and overall, I'll get a 4. So those are my scores. I've been liking all these Silver Age books everybody's been picking. I've been a sucker, so it's Alan's turn. Oh, let me put my score in before.
Sadly, my next pick won't be a Silver Age book. I already know my next pick.
Well, I'm more in line with Biggie on this one. You guys were a bit harsh, and wrongly so. So one of the things with the cover, I think that you guys didn't get out of the cover, is the reason you got the weird-looking Robin and the kind of chinny, I guess, Batman, is they're really trying to capture the idea that they're fighting over her. That's what they're trying to capture with that they have this kind of disgruntled look, and they look like they're attacking each other over her, and she's the focal point. I actually like the art of the way that she's drawn. It's very good girl arty. I like the little Peter Pan kind of feel to it. I like the shadow. I like the go-go checks. I'm a big fan of the go-go checks. And I know that this is a book that does look better from a distance. Matt was totally right about that. That does look better from a distance. But it's one of those ones that, if it's on the newsstand, it's going to grab it. It's going to pull you in. Okay, it's going to be one of those ones that grabs
that
you.
red and white mix in the background is perfect for that.
It's a great cover. I was debating about giving this a 4. I'm not going to give it quite that high. I'm not going to quite give it that high because I do agree there is a bit of wonkiness on the Robin. So I'm going to give it a 3.5. So I do feel like it's a strong cover, and I really do like it. I actually really love a cover where it's a cover where you have a little bit of a story. It has a little bit of a story. As I said, there is that battle between Robin and Batman. Why are they mad at each other? Why are they fighting over this girl? And there's also that first appearance of being on the cover. That's for me a big thing. I just love seeing that. So that's my score on the cover. Interior art I thought was very solid. Again, if you like good girl art like I do, I'm a big fan of that for the Golden Age. They had it all. Like they were really like playing up on the looks of the female villains. They were really playing up on the looks of this seductress Poison Ivy. And the thing is, I disagree with Matt. Matt, I'm not like I'm a non-feminist. Okay, so basically, women are like much more interested in their own sort of self-worth than they are in money. Money is sort of secondary to them. I really do feel like that. And these villains are kind of the quintessential women where they really want to be admired and they looked up upon. And I could see this being a very ego-driven villain that she is, and that's actually kind of part of her who she is, that she is ego-driven. So that kind of gives you a sense of the type of person you're dealing with. And actually, was she really a villain in this? It was very questionable. She actually helped catch all the bad guys if you look at it. So I was like, why are they even arresting her? She basically saved the day. She basically captured the top 3 villains.
Good point.
I was like, she's more of an anti-hero in this. And
that wasn't
because she did poison people.
Well,
and that wasn't her intention. Her intention was not to get them behind bars. Like she wanted to. She
assaulted a room of people with the light.
Well, yeah, but they got blinded for momentarily. Am I big or is Biggie big?
No, you're
big.
Okay, I'm small again on my thing. But okay, so I think I don't know. I think she's a bit like they kind of set up this idea of her being a bit of an anti-hero in my mind, that I see her that way. And I think that's actually interesting. That if you look at most of the characters of that time period, maybe Catwoman would be the other that would fit into this. And I really do believe that this comic sets up a premise that Poison Ivy is a new potential love interest for Batman. But a different type of love interest than some of the other girls that he's been involved with. She has powers of either seduction with her good looks, but she's also smart. She can she has like her lipstick that does different things based on whatever she wants it to do. She can trick other villains so that shows that she's superior to those other villains, and she plays on their weaknesses. So I think there's a lot of setup there that I feel like you guys totally.
Well, I do have a point to make when you're done. So
okay. I know that it's a very short story, but there's a lot of setup in the character, and you get a sort of sense. even though maybe it's not the best story, the end all be all story, it's not like, going to go down in the annals of history as, oh, this is the story that defines the best story. No, it's not like that, but it is a story that you get a real sense of her personality. You get a sense of her powers, which is always good. I always like when they can clearly define, okay, what is Poison Ivy? She's somebody that, she has toxic lips, or, controlling of men. She's a seductress. She's a, enchantress in some weird way. She has all these things. That is well established in this book. And they did it very quickly. Okay. And she's also a mastermind, that she can play other people against each other. So there's a lot established. The other thing is, we don't know what her other crimes are. That's another thing that's interesting, that, hey, there could be something bigger here. And she didn't seem to really care the fact that she got captured. Sometimes, like, a villain can be so, like, if you ever read the book Stainless Steel Rat, he actually gets caught on purpose just because he was curious about meeting other people in the criminal organizations.
Right.
So it's sort of like that idea that, no prison's going to hold her anyway, so she doesn't really care. She just wants to be on the map for, and appreciated for her genius. So I'm going to give the interior art, I'm going to give it I was debating about giving it a 3.5. I'm going to give it a 3.75. I actually like the good girl art elements. The story, I'm going to give actually a higher score than you guys did. I'm going to give it a 3.5, not a 4. It's not quite that good. It's, it is too quick of a story.
I think I gave it 3.75 for story.
Okay. So yeah. So, it is, I think it's a good story, but it's not the best story in history. And then overall, because this book is so important, and it really does capture a moment in time of Batman where it's campy, sure it's silly, but it does really capture that. And for that time capsule's sake, that I actually really appreciate. I actually like the campiness. I like all that stuff because I did enjoy Batman 66. And it the fact that it has the go-go checks to go with it, it just has all of it is a time capsule. It is like, it's beautiful in that way. It's just so beautiful. It captures the way women were at that time. It captures the way men were at that time. The fact that they, Batman is like, he's reluctantly trying to catch her. He's like, he would kiss her. He's like, the whole time that they're googly-eyed over all these villainesses, it captures all of that. And it's just, I think that time capsule part makes me feel like this should be a 4, a definitely 4 book overall. So that's my score. That's above all its parts, and that's actually a pretty great book. So that's my score.
All right, thank you, Alan. That was very well. I did score higher than everybody, but
yeah, you scored the highest.
Yeah.
But I agree.
I will say this, okay? For those that know Batman, okay, Batman 182, the next issue was an 80-page giant, so it's not really. Okay?
Yeah, I looked at that, and 83 is when she comes back again.
I was going to say the next issue after that, she is back, and you get to actually, she is much better.
She's playing the guys, yeah.
They build out the character much better. How she gets out of jail by threatening with explosive hair and all this other stuff. You can tell that the background of her being a chemist comes into play, that they're building her up to it. Yeah. So it does get better. First, it's just because this is the start.
I feel like this is just giving a taste, like in a weird pun with her. But, it's really just introducing her. And she is much smarter than we're giving her credit for. Like, we think, oh, she's been caught so easily. There's more to it than that. And I feel like she knows that there's more to it than that. They're just catching up to her. I think,
Alan,
she's a mastermind.
You gave this story more credit than it deserves, man. You overthunk the fuck out of this one, man.
I
You
read the next books.
you went down the anti-hero rabbit hole, man. There's
Yeah.
nothing in this book that suggests that she is an anti-hero. It's not even close. The
I,
result did capture villains, but
Yeah.
she had no intention of being heroic in any
the
way,
whole
shape, or
time,
form.
Yeah, that
she's
wasn't her
not heroic.
intention at all.
I wouldn't call her heroic. I didn't say she's heroic, but she is an anti-hero. Where she
But
does
the
things,
anti-hero
she wants to
generally
work.
does.
She wants to team up with Batman. She wants to.
No, she wants to ride his pole. Like,
No, and that's the thing that like D makes a good point. Like she was wondering, do I want Bruce Wayne because he has money, or do I want Batman because he could beat the crap out of all these people?
Mhm.
That was her thought process.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that. And
but
the point is,
don't read into it more than what it is for this story. The story is what it is. It's on paper. You got to read it. Like and I'm not mad that you loved it. Like that's
so I'll
cool.
defend myself a little bit on this.
I
So
wish you
if
wouldn't. I think you already have, and you overdid it. Fuck me, man. Like, dude, our time in life is finite, man. We gotta go.
Okay, so in 83, she kind of, you get her a bit more of a sense of her, but you can tell that the writers, I feel like they set the fundamentals in there so that 83, the 183 can be set up. So
here's the thing. I'm on. I hate to say it, D, I love you, but okay, look at this. Just give this a breather, little fucking idea, right? What we got in this story, is it I know that she has powers now, but isn't it the way we understand her to this day?
No,
I feel like
it is completely against what she is today. Today she is an environmental terrorist.
yeah,
Now
that's
in
more
this,
modern.
she's just a hormone crazed harlot that wants to be known for her fucking crimes.
She
Like,
uses her sexual fucking body to manipulate men, and she does the kiss thing with her lipstick. Like that's classic.
Exactly.
If you watch Uma Thurman's portrayal of her, this is
a terrible interpretation of Uma Thurman, of Poison Ivy.
No,
Biggie's
but I
math
feel
is
like
perfect
this is in
today.
line with that. This is in line with that. She's like a seductress.
That's saying that something is in line with the worst comic book movie of all fucking time is not a compliment.
I wouldn't say it was the worst.
I did like Poison Ivy in it. I did like Poison Ivy. That one part with Poison Ivy, actually, I liked Uma Thurman.
I could have given this story just a tiny bit more love if, like, I would have seen like a Venus flytrap like attack Batman.
That's a good point. We didn't see that. We didn't get to see the plants. D's onto something.
Yeah, you see her kissing people.
Come later.
That is true.
Yeah,
but the plant stuff in the next story.
Yeah,
which is cool. And here's the deal: I'm not even against like they evolved her character later, but here's where when Alan, you started your review, you literally started it with, let me tell you why everyone else was wrong. And then you overthought the fuck out of it. And,
but if you look at the Batman and Robin, they're looking at each other as if they're going to war, and then she's in the middle. She's the focal point of why they're
and they literally did not war at all. Like basically Robin literally says, "Hey bro, you good?" And he's like, "Yeah, let me throw this batarang."
I really do feel like when they wrote this, they wrote both this one and 183 together. It really,
and we didn't review 183 at all in this one, though, man. We reviewed 181.
But they do set up a few things, and maybe it's very subtle, but I caught the subtlety. So there was a scene where they're looking at.
I agree with you that if you take both stories together, it's much better.
Yeah. So there's a scene where they're looking at those three villainesses, right? And they're both going, "Woohoo! These girls are so hot," and then Batman says, "Oh wait, Sonny boy, you're a little bit young. You're a little bit young to be looking at these girls. They're all for me, none for you." It's like they're already preparing to fight over the women. And then when Poison Ivy presents herself, she's like, "Oh, the extra hottie girl," and so I can see. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading into it more than there's there, but
That is literally what I accused you of.
I know, but I see it. I see that setup. I really do see that setup.
I just
And
always think of that Robin is just a bitch slap away from being kicked off the team.
Dude, he's real quick. He's one misstep away from being an orphan. Like,
this one actually, I thought this one had better. Like the one other thing I actually really enjoyed about this was, Batman's was kind of putting Robin down a little bit. Hey boy, you can't, don't look at the girls yet. But then Robin actually gets his, gets a little one-in dig on Batman with the whole elevator shaft thing. Why are you walking around blindly and falling into elevator shafts, you stupid moron? I use the stairs like a normal person would. It's like, I thought that was a good dig. I thought it was a good.
Hey, no, but here's the deal. I have no problem with enjoying the story for what it is. It's a very simple story that leaves a lot of potential for future development. But that development did not happen in this book whatsoever. It happened in the next issue that she was featured in. And here's the deal. I'm okay with you rating it highly just because you love the character and because you liked how she developed. And your review is your own. But like when you start your review, you immediately started with, let me tell you why everyone else was wrong. Like, I'm not wrong. Like,
I can't
my
help it that you guys
opinion,
are all wrong.
my opinion is still my opinion. My opinion is correct 100% of the time in my reality. So, and in your reality, this was a very in-depth story featuring an anti-hero of
I saw his
we have different realities here, which is cool. But ooh, baby, I think you plop that book down in front of 100 people, you're not going to get a lot of people that go, oh, anti-hero. You're not going to catch that. Like, it might just be you.
The reason I called her an anti-hero in this one was the fact that she helped actually capture a whole bunch of bad guys.
That wasn't
inadvertently helped. She set it up. She put all the pieces together. She
brought them all together. She even told Batman to come so that they could all be caught.
No, she brought Batman in so that she could.
But she tried to escape by doing the little kissy thing.
Yeah, she didn't try to escape. She tried to lure Batman in so that Batman was hers.
This is all TM's fault.
Yeah, no, TM. What the fuck, bro? Here's the funny thing is yeah. Hey, I'm not mad at this book.
It was a fun read, regardless of whatever. It was fun to spend a few minutes reading about Poison Ivy because she has been one of my favorite characters since I read it. And actually, the second part was one of the books in my uncle's original collection, so I actually read it quite a bit. So when I first read 181, I had the chance to read 181. I was like, finally, I get to see how this starts.
Yeah, it starts. As I said, I feel the way it read to me, like I really did see that they probably wrote the two together.
It's a good chance.
Yeah.
I think that both of y'all are right. I'm not going to say who I think's more right, but I think that this was a story that is open to interpretation. Like I see Alan's and Dee's points, and I think they're both very valid and clear.
Well, and I think you like it for a completely different reason too, Biggie. Like it's like, and there's you can be a million reasons to love this book and any book. So I'm not mad at anyone's reason for loving them. But man, that one made me. Hey, where did this book rank?
Oh yeah, I can't imagine it ranked very well.
If y'all missed the part where Matt said my math was perfect, go ahead, Matt. You can let him know.
Biggie, your math is always perfect.
Math was perfect today. And the book ended up being 18th overall, almost right smack in the middle.
Okay.
Cool. Well, what other books are in that realm?
In that area, we have.
Let's go two above, two below.
Wonder Woman 1, Junior 16, Man of Steel 18.
I mean, it's in good company.
Man of Steel 18. That's one of my picks. Damn it.
Yeah, well, Man of Steel 18 is just above it.
How about Wonder Woman 1? Oh my goodness.
Wonder Woman 1 is the one right below it.
Oh my goodness, that's
I rank it
that's-
like above Freeze and underneath Thor. That's where I'm at.
I would say that this is not as good as Wonder Woman 1, in my
Okay.
opinion. But
The art in Wonder Woman 1 was not as good as this shit.
Hey, but
Yeah.
hey, if
I can see-
Alan, if every comic book was worth $1,
Yeah.
Mhm.
period, there's no arguing how much the book is worth. Like every book is worth $1. You cannot pay more for it. You can't get more for it. Like they're all $1. It might, yeah. And I'm not in favor of that. I'm just like, look at it in a different lens where you take out the historical importance of a Wonder Woman 1. Like,
So, but for me, I think it's just like it's sort of like saying, you can't remove books. Like that's why I was saying it is a time capsule. And I can't separate those things because that adds so much to the book. Like reinterpreting the book from a modern lens is not really a good way to read it in a way. I really do think you have to understand the time period, and I really do like it adds something to it in a way. I always liked the Shakespearean idea of when you enter Illyria, you suspend disbelief. And what that means is that you go into that era, you go into that time period, and you see it from that lens, and you really, you can enjoy it for what it is instead of like trying to put some modern lens on. Oh, why didn't they deconstruct the characters, and why didn't they, where's women are just as strong as men, blah 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 blah. It doesn't have to have all that. It can be like appreciated for the way it was at that time. Is my point.
Yeah, my point about the pop culture thing is this is definitely like something that sticks out in a crowd, dude. Like that's why I probably have a soft spot for it. And of course my mom's favorite book. I mean, I definitely have a soft spot for it, but yeah, that's cool. We all had our scores. It was a short story. It could have been more detailed.
I do see your I think it's good to have both sides, and I actually like hearing your opinion on it.
I'm glad someone gave it a hard time. It just makes sense. What did you say, Matt?
I do see your point about the women and the times and stuff and you're saying like that, but I think that it was a little of a caricature at the same time. I think it was a little over the top from what it would normally be because my remembrance, okay, it's the 60s, but my remembrance of the 70s, which were quite similar, was that they were a little more subtle about it. They weren't always so in your face. I want to be the best. It was more subtlety behind the scenes.
Matt and Dee are in the fucking club together right now, man. They're like,
yeah, it's interesting. Usually it's Matt and I, but now it's
Well, I have to go with my gut, and unfortunately, the story was just a little less than me. But you know what? If I was to take both parts together, it would rate a lot higher.
Dude, imagine how bad it would have been if she didn't do the kiss thing, or if she didn't use her. Dude, it would have been bad.
The kiss thing I did not would have had a problem.
It would have been way worse if she didn't do the shit she did in this.
I like the fact that she's not like she's not a fighter. She's not somebody.
Yeah,
that's gonna,
it's all about her
punch the guy.
sexual. I'm sexy.
She's a seductress.
I think Robin should have been into her a little bit more, though. I think Robin should have been falling for her too. Honestly,
yeah, but I've noticed over the years that the women that are interested in Batman,
he fucks them all.
Robin. And even today, where Dick Grayson has grown up, become Nightwing, and moved on, Catwoman still gives him contempt.
Look at the first Catwoman that don't.
I'll give you a good example of that, though, Matt. I'm married, and my wife has a younger sister, right? When I first met her sister, she was 12. She was a literal child.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's 30. She's a beautiful woman. She's very attractive. I can't see her in that lens though.
You just see as a kid.
Because I see her as a kid, and like, but I mean, if I didn't know her, I'd see her and be like, hey, I would. But I've known her since she was 12. I can't get the bratty little sister image out of my head. And
Okay, that's fair.
you know, and not that I'm trying to like look at like her sister and fuck her. Like I'm just saying, like I can see how what you just said though, that Catwoman knew Dick Grayson as a child,
Yeah.
and even though he's grown up and he's handsome and his butt looks fantastic in those tights, like she just can't get around the fact that he was a 12-year-old boy wonder at one point, and she can't get around that. So I commend Catwoman for not succumbing to her hormones.
Hmm. So, by the way, Matt is choosing next, right?
Yeah, breaking news. It's Matt's choice.
And breaking news. I am choosing DC Comics Presents 87, the first
Oh,
appearance of
shit.
Superboy Prime.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that you were going to pick this book. So this is
I got this.
So did
book
I.
recently.
I think we all discussed it. You all knew I was picking it at some point.
Yeah.
But I
Another-
mean, like Biggie just got this book, and to be honest, it would probably be in the top 3 of books that I would be considering right now. Anyway, it is a really good story, at least from my memory of it. So hopefully,
I haven't read
it still
so
is a
I'm
good
looking
story.
forward to this one.
How about you, Alan? You got this book?
I have it. Mine's slabbed, so I haven't read it.
How about
But
you,
I'll
TM?
definitely read it.
I actually got this, Alan. I got this book off of Norm with a huge Matt discount. So I was very
nice.
pleased.
That's
So-
a pricey book, actually.
I'm sure D has one. I know he's got one slabbed. How about Raw, D?
Did you say Norin like Rad?
No,
No.
a
Norman.
local guy. Local
A
guy.
local
Norman.
guy.
Oh, I thought you said Norin.
D, you got a
Yeah,
Raw
Norm.
copy?
Let me put it this way, Alan. He had it for $80. He gave it to me for 50.
Wow.
Nice.
Damn, that's a
And it's
price.
in really good shape. That's why you'll notice I actually have it
It
in.
looks. It's in
Mylar. It's in
right?
great
it looks
shape.
awesome.
Yeah, mine is too.
I
This
think-
this is one I would consider sending in to get CGC'd if I did CGC.
all right. It looks beautiful.
Yeah, that's why I put it
Well,
in.
no matter how you look at it, this is the other 181 in a collector's. There's the 181 and the other 181. I think
Yeah.
we did the other 181, and it was fun.
Mhm.
Biggie, I did send you my only raw copy of the book, but I
Oh.
did already have it digitally, so I don't need a link for it. Like I'm just ready to go.
All right.
Oh well, okay.
All right. Well,
And we're gonna meet on Thursday next week, right?
next week, Thursday, we're aiming for Thursday. If we don't come next week, we will just do Wednesday regularly next week. So after that. And-
So real quick, maybe this is a bad time to figure this out. Like, don't you normally have another commitment on Thursday that you can't, like what's,
Oh
are you
yeah,
there?
that's right. I got wrestling. I could tell them that I'll push it back to 9. I'll tell them.
Okay.
I can make it work. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll let them know. If Becker can push it back to 9, it'll be fine. Or we could do 7 o'clock here if that's all right.
Yeah.
What do you think of 7?
I'm also good with 7.
I'm 7 on Wednesday. You mean?
There's
Thursday.
7 on this Thursday.
Oh, 7 next Thursday. Yeah.
Next Thursday.
Yeah, I could do that.
I could
Okay.
probably do that. I'll if there's a problem, I'll let you know.
All right, we're aiming. How about you, TM? It's good. All right. So 8 days from now, 7 p.m. Eastern, we will be back. Hopefully, if not, we'll just make it to next week regulars. So Friday night, we are doing the Undervalued Book Again Championship, and we never got to pick a character.
I was totally right, by the way, last time. But okay, go ahead.
Yes, I think Alan was robbed. Alan
was robbed.
Alan won.
Because
We
his
just
book,
lied.
the one that won, was already hyped up. So
It was kind of silly, but Chonko had his chonkers with him, and we got beat.
Mm.
We never decided on a character. Like last week was Spider-Man. Do we have a character this week, or are we just going in blind?
Well, what character does everyone here like that we all have in common?
I heard a lot of people say Star Wars, but I don't have any. But
I hate Star Wars.
I don't like Star Wars.
Star Wars. Okay.
Um,
I have a lot of Star Wars, but
we all have a
As I'm sitting here with like a Star Wars poster in the back.
I'm okay with you loving Star Wars, but I have 0 Star Wars books
I like
in my collection.
Maybe.
but do you have Wonder Woman?
I was gonna say Wonder Woman just because
I don't have a lot of that either, but we could. if
I have a
wanted.
bit of it. Alan has. Okay.
I have
how
I have
about
a few Wonder Woman books.
How about Avengers? Does everybody have a lot of Avengers?
I love Avengers, dude. Avengers,
I have a-
X-Men.
I
How
have a ton
about
of Avengers,
Fantastic
too.
Four? Does that sound
Oh,
fun?
yeah. Well,
I have almost
I have a
none.
ton of- What?
You have almost
I
none.
I have almost
Fantastic Four?
none.
Of Avengers
Yeah,
RFF?
no.
Here's the deal. Like
Either
you guys
one.
just named like 8 things in a row that I don't have a lot of in my collection.
Well,
Yeah.
then-
So like y'all
Well, you're
like
very
you
Spider-Man
can't.
focused, so that's the problem.
Yeah, so I'm saying you don't
And
have to
Superman.
placate it around what I collect. So pick
Hmm.
what you guys really enjoy.
We could do X-Men if everybody has it.
Why don't we do Marvel team books
Marvel team books. Hmm.
like Avengers, Fantastic Four?
Or X-Men.
Oh, any of them. Yeah, I like that. So you can have X-Men, you can have FF, you can have Avengers. Yeah, I
That
like
way
that.
we all have a
But
mix.
here, if we mix them all though, you kind of waste like 3 really good rounds in one episode.
Matt, you're
Not
weak
everybody's
on
gonna have a lot,
Marvel
though.
stuff, aren't you?
I have a
You're
lot
weak
of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, we could
okay.
we could all just placate to our whatever we want, and it that way everybody will have a strong suit. Is the way I think.
Okay, I have a lot of Fantastic Four as well.
I got a good
no,
FF
I
and
collect-
X-Men.
I collect Fantastic Four. That one.
I have
And
almost
Avengers.
the complete run of Fantastic Four up to 20.
Just bring your best Marvel team. You know, like I'll have a mix of everything. Is what I'm
Well, that's
doing.
just it. Like, let's keep it to the 3 teams that we mentioned, and
Okay.
not like bring in champions or Guardians of the Galaxy.
ones.
Like,
So
just leave
X-Men,
it-
Avengers, FF.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. X-Men, Avengers, FF, and we'll do the undervalued book too. I think we're good and set up now. Everything's situated. Go watch Chonker's giveaway tonight.
I have an undervalued book right here. This book should be worth double what it is, and I don't mean my copy. I mean like the book.
In
the
general,
book itself.
yeah.
Superboy Prime becomes such a big villain that his first appearance should be worth a lot more.
I think I've heard that before from somebody recently. So everybody's got shows. Run through the shows real quick. What you got coming up, Matt? Sorry.
The Sunday Superman show is going to return this Sunday at 9 Eastern. I have Comic Mike coming on, and I'm not sure who else is going to come, but Comic Mike has confirmed that he's got a bunch of new Bronze Age Superman he wants to show off, and so that's scheduled for 9 p.m. and I'm going to be on Alan's channel on Friday.
Yeah.
All right.
We're doing AOKs finally.
Okay, A-okay.
AOK.
All right.
But I have something really big happening on Monday.
Oh, wow.
Steven, he has to outdo himself. So he's going to outdo himself on Monday. So he's getting his
Wow.
biggest book in his collection.
Again,
so
another big book.
bigger than Batman 1 and Captain America 1.
So the guy that got the book that he's getting traded a Cap 1 plus a whole bunch of cash to get the book that Steven's getting.
Jesus Christ.
So
What the fuck it is?
that's coming up on Monday. It's going to be a big show. It's going to be a big
All
show.
right.
Is
And
this
I'm
the
getting,
end of
all
Stevens?
my
Is this
auction
the end of Stevens' windfall from selling his weapon collection?
No,
I told-
he did it with trades. He got it with
Wow.
trades.
I told
He gave up
Steven
a
when he
lot.
got that Batman 1, he's going to catch the bug, and it ain't going to stop till he gets a 6-digit book. So that's my prediction.
Yeah. So it's a I can't reveal, but it is a big book.
He didn't believe me, but I know shit better than he does. So there you go, step up. All right. TM, he's
I'm
been
looking forward to
kicking
that.
butt. TM's back. He's got his internet. He's doing shit on his channel. Congratulations, TM.
Yeah, I
It's
just,
not
if
just
you
a
guys want to
trademark
check
anymore.
out, yeah, if you guys want to check out, I went live yesterday, did like a 2.5 hour live yesterday, did some unboxings of I just got a lot of new Teen Titans books in, and they're all
Nice.
keys. So check that out. And my monthly comic haul, a few AOKs. I got this in it. It's a Justice League poker set. So the
Ooh.
character Justice League
I
and
like
the
that.
Justice League chips. So,
This guy in the chat, Johnny's comic stuff. You should
Yeah, I
check
saw
him
that.
out.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
dude, that's
got-
right. He's the X-Men guy. Yeah.
He was on with Chonko and Big Nasty last weekend, and he's the one that got the The Bryce. Yeah, he
Yeah.
traded the Amazing Spider-Man
Oh,
1
wow.
the X-Men.
Yep.
Okay, that's very cool.
He's
And-
got a good collection.
To tag along to that, Johnny was the last guest. I will be the one that's next. So I will be on Big Nasty's channel with Chonko. And
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they told me that. I think I saw that with Big Nasty.
Oh,
So,
it's cool that you're
Johnny,
going on other channels.
anytime you get a chance, Johnny, next time we drop the link on my channel, you're always welcome, bro. And we'll work on getting you on the network soon.
There's a few other things that's going on with me besides. I'll be over on Mad Spidey's channel this Saturday, of course, for the Outback. Sunday, church over on Bleeker's show. And then I'll be the fourth guest on. It was determined today because people are too scared to go on the show. I'll be the fourth guest, and you know who you are, you pussy.
Oh my God.
I'll be the fourth guest on Darth Lopez's show this upcoming Monday.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to be on Bronze Age Nerd on Monday as well.
Nice.
Wow, that's pretty late.
Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock at night for me, so I'm like,
I'll have to watch the replay.
But
And
it's
D
I'm
will
gonna
be on my
showing
channel.
Canadian Whites. That's what I wanted to
Anytime
talk
D
about.
wants to be, D will be on my channel. Oh yeah, shout outs to Bleeker's Church too. But we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you guys very much.
Also, don't forget your new show, Breaking News.
Yeah, breaking news has been scrolling at the
What
bottom of
is
the
this
screen.
breaking news thing, anyways?
I'll let you know in the background. It's top secret information.
Okay.
All right. See y'all later, dude. It's been Book Club. Thank you so much. That was Batman 181. We will be back with